properly go live.
And we're live. We just like
So, hello everybody. I'm so sorry we're 10 minutes late. That is my fault. That is because I don't know how to do this properly. Hold on. I'm just trying. Okay, maybe we're not live. I'm not sure.
it says live. We are now live.
I think we're just live on Facebook and maybe not on Facebook because we are so late. Okay. Save changes. Save changes. Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out. Okay, we're not on Facebook. We're just on YouTube. Oh, goodness. Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
And I'm here today with my very good friend, Christopher Gamble. I'm just going to take a quick moment for a land acknowledgement at the beginning, at the outset here. I welcome you wherever you may sit from my home that sits on Treaty 8 land. A treaty is an inheritance, a responsibility, and a relationship. We acknowledge Treaty 8 territory, the traditional and ancestral territory of the Cree and Dene. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis settlements of the Métis Nation of Alberta, regions 1, 4, 5, and 6, with the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge that many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on or are visiting. Hi, everybody. One more thing that I also forgot. We need a theme song. So could you please send me a theme song? 'Cause we don't really have a theme song. And we could really use a theme song. Send us a song. Hi, everybody. Okay. So, I am not very good at technology, full disclosure. And so I messed things up a little bit. Chris and I started on our own about 10 minutes ago, and
We were hilarious. It was the best.
it was the greatest thing you've ever seen, for sure.
Oh, man.
So apologies, and maybe some of that is recorded on here. I don't actually know yet, but we'll find out. And then post kind of that first section later, perhaps.
So, Alyssa, starting fresh blank page here. What are we doing tonight?
Well, what we've decided to do is do a little bit of improv for you. So often for virtual variety night, we've been doing theater sports-based games with a bunch of people. Tonight, you have the joy of the exclusive company of me and Christopher Gamble, and we are going to do something a little bit different. So, Christopher and I have decided that if we, in an alternate reality, had decided to become movie stars, we would move to LA and we would go and pitch the perfect movie for showcasing our talent to all of the producers. So
that's right. And you know what? We didn't get around to writing this movie, so now we're going to have to make it up on the spot as we go. Before you, our fine viewers, joined us, we had talked a little bit about me being in the hot seat, and we came up with a title for our awesome movie. And that is dun, 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 a large journey towards meltdowns.
Indeed.
We had just finished up with me in the hot seat, and we found out a little bit about my character. And so instead of going and doing it all over again, Alyssa, why don't you tell them a little bit about my character, and then I'll put you in the hot seat. How's that sound?
Absolutely. One thing I'm just trying to make sure that people that are trying to watch us on Facebook, because I screwed up the time of our thing, I
Okay, I will tell everybody about me. How about
okay,
you
perfect.
go off screen and just like let me at it here, right on.
You betcha.
Full disclosure, I forgot everything that I told Alyssa, so this is probably going to be made up all over again. But my character is named David Winklesmith. I am from Burbank, California, and I am a fruit seller. Something you should know about me is my favorite aspect about myself is I'm a very charismatic fruit seller. And one thing that really aggravates me, rotten eggs and the people that keep leaving them on my doorstep. I generally hang out with a lot of other fruit sellers. I go to fruit seller conventions. I have been known to be in fruit seller Facebook groups, and as well, my now popular and trending fruit seller TikTok channel. Isn't that fun? Um, on a sad note, I have been widowed once and divorced twice, but I still maintain a great relationship with my stepchildren who begrudgingly hang out with me because I got that fruit seller money, right? And that's all I can tell you about David Winklesmith at this point. He is one of our heroes in a large journey towards meltdowns. Alyssa, did you get it figured out?
I think so. It's on my personal Facebook. I'll just post the video later onto the page. I'm sorry, folks. I'm challenged.
Well, we love you greatly, and working well under pressure is what we do, right?
Sometimes it's lovely when there's no place to go but up, you know? It's a nice low pressure place to sit.
We all
Okay,
started as babies. We had to go somewhere.
we did.
All
So
right.
thank you for introducing everybody to David Winklesmith. And now it's my turn to be in the hot seat, I think.
Perfect. That's great. I should probably write some of this stuff down. This is photo paper. This is photo paper. This is a notepad. This is a notepad. Great. All right. Alyssa, please, let's start with what your character's name is.
My character's name is Bettina Balula.
The Tina?
Bettina.
Oh,
Like
Bettina.
Betty, but Bettina.
And what would you say is your favorite personality feature about yourself?
I think my favorite personality feature about myself is that um, I tend to mirror whatever other people in the room are doing. So if somebody is speaking to me, I can kind of match their cadence and I start to um, mirror themselves back to themselves, which can come in handy in a number of scenarios.
You're like a social chameleon. I like that. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
What is one thing that drives you crazy?
Ooh, it drives me crazy when um it drives me crazy when people confuse me for someone else.
And who do they most commonly confuse you with?
Well, there is a woman. Her name is uh Betty Bartley. And Betty Bartley also wears glasses like mine, and she has hair somewhat similar. And and we kind of run in the same circles. And Betty Bartley is constantly like she is an actress in commercials, and and so people often like think that I'm her from those commercials, and then they'll say things to me like, Oh, I saw you in that orthopedic insoles
Mm.
commercial. Man,
Um,
they really put a lot of makeup on you on screen or something like that.
Betty Bartley has a famous catchphrase for her commercials that people shout to you all the time. What is it?
All the time. All the time they are shouting, um, oh my aching feet. And it's not just in orthopedic insole commercials either. She did that in a Burger King commercial. She did that in a commercial for hat stands. She did that in a commercial for like one of those PSAs for not doing drugs. Oh, my aching feet. So people will say
Great.
that to me constantly.
Where do you live?
I live just south of Austin, Texas. I'm not from here. I just moved here relatively recently.
And what does Bettina do for a living?
Oh, Bettina is makes promotional materials of a variety of sorts. And that's, I think, why maybe Betty Bartley drives me insane because as I'm trying to get my foot in the door, a lot of the people I'm dealing with deal with like have seen a lot of commercials and they want me to bring her flavor of flair to what I'm doing. But I do more like print advertising promotions. I do flyers on your windshield. I do, a little more low key um and like quantity, I do quantity promotions, whereas
Nice.
she does her own thing.
Awesome. Is there any other questions you'd like me to ask you about Bettina?
Uh, nope, I don't think so.
I've got one.
Hmm.
What drives her forward in the morning?
Mm. Hmm.
What keeps her giving those flyers out?
Right. Well, she is actually um, saving up because she has always dreamed of going to this resort in Costa Rica where you're in the jungle and there's kind of netting around you so you can see all the trees and it feels like you're right in there with the monkeys, but you're not. You're like protected and shielded from bugs and stuff. And she dreams about going there and writing her memoir. And she has been saving every penny that she makes. She saves so that one day she can go to Costa Rica in the jungle
To
and
write her memoir of
read her
low
memoir.
scale, high volume promotional materials.
Exactly. It is a exciting world of quantity promotions.
Well, I tell you, David would definitely read that biography for sure.
Good, good.
Great. And so there we have our characters. We've got David, we've got Bettina, and we're gonna jump right into a large journey towards meltdowns.
Hmm.
I think we need a location, right?
Yeah. So you're
Uh,
from Burbank.
yeah, and
Have you
you're
updated
from
it?
Austin.
Yeah, I'm from just outside of Austin, and you like to go to conventions for fruit vending.
Love it. I love fruit vending conventions.
Do you ever wear like costumes to fruit vending conventions?
Um, no, but I usually theme it. So like I'll like be grapes one day and wear a lot of purple and a lot of like circles, or like sometimes I'll be bananas and I'll just like slip everywhere, so I'm pretty meta with like
That's
how I
very
go to these
okay.
conventions.
So I think that Bettina got a gig helping a rival fruit vendor, perhaps a tomato vendor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, and she's helping them promote their booth at the fruit convention.
Okay, and this is a fruit convention in Austin, I'd say. Hey,
Yeah, yeah, in Austin.
so Act One, Austin Fruit Convention. I'm writing that down on my big piece of paper. I got a big piece of paper here that I'm going to write down everything. We'll send a photo of that chicken scratching if we feel like it later.
And if I can figure out how to send anything to anyone, then it's coming
One,
straight
if
to
we
you
can get
first.
live at least, if we can figure out how to cast this live, we can cast a picture. I'm sure we can do it.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Okay.
Act One, Austin Fruit Convention. What's the name of this convention?
Mm. Um. Okay. You know the game that you like to play. What am I thinking? We'll
Yeah.
each we'll say one, two, three. We'll each say a word. We'll put them together. Okay.
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, I got it.
One,
One, two,
two,
three.
three.
Basket.
Bowl.
So
Basket.
it's the basketball convention. Okay, perfect. Basketball convention it is. I'm going on the
Done.
word.
Basketball.
I'm for the record taking a trust token on this, and
Okay.
we told all of our viewers before we were live about these, but we have these trust tokens, and
Yeah.
when one of us makes a decision, or both of us, as this case is, that the other person doesn't agree with and thinks it's a bad idea, they take a trust token saying, you know what? I don't know if that's a good idea naming this convention the basketball. But I'm going to trust you and I'm going to take that token just to put that up on the shelf right here. There we
So
go.
yeah, that's where his trust tokens go. Mine are buttons from my past, and I will put them. I will affix them to my clothing when I need them. But so far, I'm good with basketball. The basketball convention. Okay. And Bettina is doing some promotions for a tomato vendor. David is running his booth.
I think I'm just setting up my booth. Like we started at the beginning of this convention, right? Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
Now what? I guess
Uh,
that we need to meet.
so set the stage. So David is at his booth setting up. But Bettina, I'm going to approach you, hand you a flyer, and begin a conversation.
Oranges, apples, grapes, good banana.
Oh, here's a flyer.
What? What? Tomatoes?
Yes, you should really come to our booth.
Uh, oh, oh, um, okay. Thank you. I'm busy setting up my fruit shack right now, and I don't have time to deal with these would
Yes,
be fruits.
I know that you might not have time to deal with them right now, but uh, soon, soon you'll be ready for some tomatoes.
Okay, who
Right?
put you up to this? Who put you up to this?
No, no. I'm inviting you to come and taste some tomatoes
Yeah,
whenever you have a chance.
yeah, I know, but there's been a lot. There's been a lot of rotten tomatoes thrown at my shack, and now you come here with a tomato flyer. What's your name?
Uh, my name is Bettina Belula, and if people have been throwing rotten tomatoes, somebody's got to talk to somebody about this. I think perhaps we should speak to the organizers of the convention.
That's right. We'll speak to the organizers and get to the bottom of this. Thank you very much, Bettina. Let's go there right now. Actually, can you just help me set up my fruit shack really quickly? I know you got some flyers, but let's get these all up here. Your
Oh,
tomato, yeah, banana. Has anybody mentioned that you look a lot like that Betty? What's her name? Like, oh my aching feet. You know her?
no, who is that? I've never heard of her before.
Oh, she does a lot of commercials in the Southwest. She's hilarious. You look like her, Oh man, it just boy, they put a lot
Well,
of makeup on that lady.
yeah,
All right,
uh, she sounds pretty.
very. Scene,
Same.
and there the characters meet.
Yes. And they start out on a path of maybe not loving each other right away.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, because basketball things can just switch on a dime, so you never know what's going to happen.
So these two characters are making their way to management to sort out the rotten tomato throwing that's going on with David here. And something happens along the way. They run into a mutual friend.
Yes. So both of them have acquaintance with.
Should we do what am I thinking? 1, 2, 3 for their name?
Yep. One,
Okay, right.
one,
1,
two,
2, 3.
three.
Stew and
Stone.
Dyke.
What's yours?
Stew and Dyke. What's yours?
Stone.
Stew and Dyke Stone. Or is it Stone Stew and Dyke?
I think Stone Stewendike might
Yeah.
be. Yep.
Okay, great.
Stone Stewendike.
Okay, so let's just do like a quick firing line here. And you and I go back and forth and just name something about Stone. And we'll count them off. So we'll do 1 and you say it, and then you say 2 and I say the next thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. All right, 1.
And then I said, okay. Stone Stewendike is a bachelor. 2.
Stone Stewendike is has a previous life as a card hustler on the streets. 3.
Stone Stewendike helped helped Bettina pay her way through school with his nefarious earnings from card trickery. 4.
Uh, David once shooed him away from his vegetable or his fruit produce stands, but quickly learned that he was the criminal with a heart of gold and kept him around and helped him get on his feet. 5.
Stone Stewendike has an identical twin brother. 6.
Stone Stewendike was arrested for grand larceny in 98. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Know enough about Stone? All right. Okay. And so this is where we would bring in another character. But let's just maybe glaze over that. We meet Stone, and Stone has some important information for us about the adjudicators, the managers of this this festival. What is it?
So what he found out is that the adjudicators of this festival there was some controversy. So there's 3 main judges, and 2 of the 3 judges aren't sure if tomatoes are a fruit. So it's creating all of this tension. And he suggests, or we infer from our conversation with him, that maybe the person throwing the rotten tomatoes is making a political statement about the validity of tomatoes as a fruit.
Nice. I love that. I love that. And of course, um, this sends David into an emotional spiral. And really quickly, I think Bettina sees the ugly side of David. Like most people see this charismatic guy, and she goes like, "How could somebody be so prejudiced against tomatoes and their fruit, not fruit situation?" Wow, this is a great, great film. Maybe we can see a little snippet of this
Tantrum.
meltdown that
Yeah.
David has.
Yes, please.
2 out of 3 judges. They said 2 out of 3 judges don't know if it's a fruit or a vegetable. I mean, obviously the science books say it's a fruit, Patina.
Well, yes, but people treat it as a vegetable. So then, isn't it a vegetable if you treat it as a vegetable?
No, 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 no. Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting that tomato in a fruit salad, okay? And you don't put tomatoes in a fruit salad to start off with. And
But you do put them in a vegetable salad, David.
no! This is the biggest meltdown I've ever had. Okay.
Bettina realizes that she needs help managing David. So, so what she decides to do is go get a basket, go get a bowl, and then form together a tableau of calming gentility. And this seems to have an effect. David calms down. Because in addition to mirroring what other people are doing, because she can do that, she also, once she starts to take cleansing breaths, other people start taking cleansing breaths. And when she focuses on the beauty of a basket and a bowl at the basket bowl convention of fruit, then others start focusing on the simpler things.
That is a very nice basket and bowl of fruit, Bettina. Thank you for calming me down from that, what was sure to be a suicidal like outbreak for myself. Yeah. Trigger warning, sorry.
But now, um, but now we know that we have the passion. We know that we have the knowledge and the wisdom. We have to continue our trek to management. And David, you've met this manager before, haven't you?
Oh
He
yes, David didn't know that this manager would be there. And I think it's only natural that this manager is also from Burbank and runs the the butcher shop with a small fruit kiosk. Their name is Milo Cartason.
Milo Cartason.
Yeah,
That's
Milo Cartazon.
and David, we have to figure out how to get this manager's attention. I think that you are the person that would know how to get his attention.
Yeah. We like camera pan up to the top of the convention center where these managers, judges, whatever we're calling them in the moment, where they are, and there is a ECUI of Milo Cartazon.
Milo Cartazon has evil facial hair.
Like his
He has
facial hair has evil mustaches on his facial hair.
Yeah, it's mustache upon mustache upon mustache. His eyebrows also have evil mustaches on them.
I'm just going to do a rough sketch while you're telling our
Yes,
viewers
please.
about Milo. You
Yeah.
keep on telling.
Milo, um, he wears dark clothing and he uses mustache wax to um, clog up his own ears so that he doesn't have to listen to the participants of the convention.
Trust
Properly.
token.
Milo Cartazon is always plotting something. His eyes are beady, and um, but behind them you can see a lot of uh, plans for the destruction of the universe.
Nice. I think I've got a good sketch up for our viewers to see what Milo looks like. Um, there's
Excellent.
Milo Cartazon right there.
Milo Cartazon.
He's going to go up there on our shelf here, our story
Yeah.
shelf of trust tokens right now. Great. And so David not really sees but senses Milo up in that booth, and he goes, he's up there. And so they go over to the entrance. Belinda says, or Bettina is just like, she beelines it there. I got a question for you, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Is Bettina still flyering throughout all of this?
Of course. She doesn't stop for a minute. Quantity, quantity, quantity.
How does David react with each flyer that's handed out? Like,
humiliation, perhaps? Let's see. Let's see what he does. Especially because he knows a lot of these people from other fruit conventions.
yeah,
Right?
can we do like maybe a quick take of like just like a bunch of, you hand out a bunch of flyers and David does a bunch of like reactions. We don't have to go into it very much, but let's just see it.
Yeah. I don't know if you've been to the tomato stand. Tomato stands! Have you had enough tomatoes? Aren't tomatoes fun? Tomato,
We
to
just got,
later.
okay, that's great. Let's just keep on going up to the. No. We don't need the uke for the tomatoes. Just we gotta get up to Milo here.
Okay. I'm trying to save tomatoes one flyer at a time.
Yeah. So now we reach the point in our hero's journey where they meet the villain and they fail, right? Like there's a big fall from grace. We thought that they were going to succeed. How do they fail? What does Milo what legislation does he cite? I think we do a 1, 2, 3. What am I thinking for what legislation he cites?
Okay.
For I don't even know what he's saying. This movie's a hit.
So he's anti-tomato. We are pro-tomato. Is that right?
I'm like, I think David's like pro science. Like he doesn't like tomatoes, but he knows that tomatoes are a fruit, and so
He'll defend the tomatoes to the ground, even though he's not really a fan.
yeah, and I think also when he's like when you're like handing out flyers, I'm like tomatoes are a fruit. Yes, tomatoes are a fruit.
Yes.
Don't put them in a fruit salad.
Perfect. But Milo is wanting to ban all tomatoes
Mm-hmm.
from fruit conventions.
Yeah.
And he has one other judge manager on his side. And so the legislation he cites for being able to do that is one,
Two,
two,
three.
three.
Plebiscite.
Stinky.
What did you say?
Stinky.
Plebiscite.
Stinky, stinky plebiscite.
Stinky, stinky plebiscite. Perfect.
So stinky, stinky plebiscite was a law
I think it needs to be a
enacted.
number. Stinky, stinky plebiscite 14?
Yeah,
Yeah.
14. Stinky, stinky plebiscite 14 was a law where it became um like during the times of the stocks when people would be like hanging on those things and people would throw a rotting smelly things at them.
Yeah.
um it started to stink up whole towns. And so as kind of a sort of a noise pollution, this is sort of a olfactory emissions from um self-expression. So like there's freedom of speech, but there's not freedom of smell anymore.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
the
and you know what? Not only does he cite this, this was the first plebiscite he used to shut down David's very first fruit produce stand.
yes, yes.
So David is distraught. And I think we have a bit of a moment where he disappears back to his stand to just shut it down and go back to Burbank. And Bettina and Milo just have a moment. Ha ha! That's right, David! Walk away like you always do with your fruits.
Tomatoes are fruits. I have a flyer to prove it. You evil Milo Partisan. I'll return with enough flyers to bury you, you mark my.
You shall never get me and my anti-tomato propaganda. Be gone with you, Bettina. Ha ha! And he slams the door in her face.
Bettina knew there was only one thing she could do, and she needed David by her side to do it. So she runs back through the whole convention. She slips on a banana peel. She dodges a melon. She dives into a big, huge swimming pool full of grapes and swims her way through. And finally, covered in jam like stickiness, she arrives at David's feet.
Bettina, you're is that marmalade? What's all over you?
David, she says. So she realizes that in order to defeat the stinky, stinky plebiscite ordinance, and Milo Cartizan. They would need a new kind of odor.
And just at that moment, when she comes up with that, who should appear but Stone Studert? I can't read my own writing.
Stewendike.
Stone
Stone
Stewendike.
Stewendike and his brother Rocky.
Oh yes, his twin brother Rocky. Show up, and they have let's do a one word at a time of what they have. Weak
Sauce
from
over
at
the
Arby's. They have weak sauce from over at the Arby's.
Okay.
Now we're cooking with Arby's.
Yeah, we are cooking with
Take it out of
flame
one,
broiled.
please.
Yeah.
Put that up there.
So weak sauce. Oh, I left my.
I'm taking more trust tokens at myself than I am for you.
I always just want to take trust tokens when I'm like, ooh, that is a good idea. This is why I trust you. I have, but I think I have two. Okay.
Okay,
So-
now what are they going to do with this? David and Bettina's got this idea. David's still down in the dumps. Bettina, it'll never work. We might as well just pack up and go back to Belmont.
And then they realize that the basket and bowl that Bettina used earlier to calm David could make a catapult.
Yes.
By putting fruit on the one end. I'm going to design the catapult.
Okay, and I will tell. I will. You design while I describe this. Stone and Rocky had a lot of trebuchet experience back in their old days of trying to smuggle goods in and out of the prison where Stone was incarcerated, and they discovered that they could build catapults out of coat racks, pillowcases, and a unknowing surprise for the truth. Somehow that attached them. So they construct this wonderful trebuchet, and they put the basket and the bowl there, and then the Arby's sauce, the weak Arby's sauce, loaded into that basket bowl.
So yes, here we have the bowl, we have the basket, we have the coat rack, we have the pillowcases, and that creates a flag of sorts so that you know whose side you're on. And then right in here is where the Arby's weak
sauce is. And I think we're coming up to our climactic ending of this wonderful film, right?
Absolutely.
As the troops of fruit vendors
and everything's in slow.
Yeah. Tiki torches blazing into the sky as this trebuchet inches closer to Milo's palace, managerial palace up in the sky.
And then David is the one that flags for the release.
Hey, before he does that.
Pulls.
Oh, no. Okay, as he pulls in slow motion, as the fruit hurtles through the air, we shall respect the tomato. And the basketball.
All of the weak sauce splatters on the wall, on the window, and dripping off every last mustache of Milo Cartizan.
And can I put in like classic, like Wicked Witch of the West kind of thing here? Like the weak Arby's sauce, like melts his mustaches?
Yes.
Oh no, my mustaches!
And there is the deflated Milo Cartizan standing in a puddle of his own mustaches.
And so, Bettina and David look at the disaster around them. They look at each other.
They take a cleansing breath.
And they say, 1, 2, 3. That's a tomato. Roll credits. I think we've got a hit. We're going to bring it to, LA. They're going to love it. There's not enough fruit vendor and flyer people in this world.
Exactly. The flyer passer outers always get overlooked when coming up with tropes.
Perfect.
As do the fruit vendors.
I got to take a look at my trust tokens. Look, I only got 3. That's pretty good.
I just got 2.
Nice. We trust each other.
Ahoy and supermarket coupons.
Kismet. I think all that's left is to thank our viewers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Next time I'm going to try and master some of this technology a little bit better. I will see you next Thursday, same time, for our Poetry Cafe. If you are interested in joining me and for the Poetry Cafe, just email this email address below, virtualvarietynight@gmail.com. For more information, you can check out our website, www.virtualvarietynight.com. Thank you so much, Christopher, for joining me today. It was so much fun playing with you.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank all the viewers. If you did like what we did and want to see it again, you got to tell us, because we won't know otherwise. And we'll assume that it was, we'll just pitch that to Hollywood and you can look for the trailer coming next summer.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, everybody. You have yourselves a great night. Mwah.